Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be over a Fear the Walking Dead theory that has become rather popular, especially here in just the last week where they aired the mid-season finale of the final season of Fear the Walking Dead. The big theory that everyone seems to be just running with, and me personally kind of hoping it's actually true, is that Troy Otto, played by Daniel Sharman from way back in season 2 and 3, somehow is alive. There's been a few leaks and everything, along with some ending scene credits or after credits, what have you, for the mid-season finale that kind of feed into this theory. Now, we all know that Troy Otto came from the Otto family that had the Brokejaw Ranch and everything way back in season 2 and 3, and he was the only survivor of that ranch as it became overrun. They got into war with the natives and everything, and just became this big thing. And he went along with Madison, but he always had some ulterior motive and she could never fully trust him. It ended with his assumed death at the dam that Nick and Daniel actually blew up, where Madison bludgeoned him with a hammer, and the last thing we see is him lying on the ground with this big bludgeon wound on the side of his head, and then Madison just dropping the hammer. Now, to kind of feed into what has become the giant speculation that he is returning, the ending scene credit for the mid-season finale, we had Madison come over the radio, announce who she was, announce these coordinates and everything, that Padre has fallen, and if you have any child out there that was taken by Padre, they could possibly reunite them. And so then we get this mystery person come into frame, and they're jotting down the coordinates that she is announcing over the radio, and they pack an assortment of random items into a bag, and it's leading everyone to believe that Troy Otto's alive, also kind of adding on to a theory and just a general curiosity that follows up at the end of the last season about Alicia. So this ending scene, it comes up and everything, and as I just said, has this mystery character come into frame and packing these things and writing down these coordinates. Now, these items, as they are, we have a map that seems to start out with the dam location from way back when in Tijuana, Baja, California. And then they pack in a pair of sunglasses. Now, these are apparently supposed to be Strand sunglasses because he did have a pair that he wore quite often back then. Then we see a hammer that looks awfully similar to the one that Madison actually bludgeoned Troy with back in those episodes. And then finally we see Alicia's homemade prosthetic packed into the bag, this prosthetic that is made from the bones of her bitten arm, because we know that she had to amputate her arm after being bitten, and then she spent the last half of the season in and out of sickness and everything, and then they closed out season 7 kind of leaving people with a lot of uncertainty of whether or not she actually died or she's still alive, because she went through the sickness and then all of a sudden she wakes up, her color's returned, she's no longer sweaty, or just she doesn't look sickly anymore, and she looks perfectly fine. But a lot of people kind of went on the assumption that maybe this was a hallucination or an afterlife kind of thing. Whereas me personally, I hope she survived. I want to see this character come back, be reunited with Madison and everything, even though we can't get Nick back because he did die. To see this person packing in this homemade prosthetic from Alicia after she left the show and everything to pursue other things, it's kind of that wow or shock or whatever that we need to close out the series, as we are now heading into the final half of the final season that we'll get later this fall. And then kind of going into it a little bit deeper, a lot of people think that this is actually Troy packing these things in, but there are some doubts because the person that is packing these things in, their hands look very feminine. And there's just the speculation that this could be some woman, maybe a different character from the past that we've long since forgotten. Because there is a scene within the after credits where you actually see what looks like dirty blonde hair kind of dangling into the screen. So it could be a woman, then it could be just Troy with unkempt hair. It's hard to tell at this point. Along with the end credits scene, we also did get some leaks from sets that I believe have since been deleted from Twitter or anything. We got these leaked photos from set that show Daniel, Luciana, and Dwight all kind of just hanging out in between shooting and everything. And then there was someone who pointed out one of the casting chairs way back in the back, and they got a zoomed in version of it. And from what we can tell, it looks like it says Troy with an O, so that has to be Troy Otto. We're thinking anyways. This could be something that someone edited or just kind of threw in there to mess with people. But we've not heard one way or the other whether or not Troy's coming back, but there has been some Season 8B footage that has been released. And there's a lot of people speculating in a couple of scenes where it has Madison and we have the return of Strand because he was not in this first half of the season. But Strand is back and Madison is with him. And we see at one point Madison going after someone. And it looks like it could be the backside of Troy. But again, this is all speculation. So there's a lot of different things feeding into the possibility that Troy could be returning. I personally would love to see Troy come back because I love Daniel Sharman. I think he's a great actor. He's been in a few different things that I've really liked. And just he also had a podcast for a short time that was really a good listen. To see them kind of bring back earlier characters that may or may not have been killed because, you know, they did the same thing with Madison. We saw her supposedly die, but we did not see a body or anything, so they were able to kind of leave that open-ended to bring her back within the last season. So I think they might do the same with Alicia and Troy. Troy might end up actually being the main protagonist or whatever of the second half of the season. Maybe he has Alicia held hostage. There's a lot of different possibilities of what's going on, and maybe that's why he maybe gets Madison led in, because Madison was the one who tried to kill him if he in fact is alive. And this could explain why he has Alicia's arm, if that was him in the end credit scene, and why she, from what I've seen from these other videos, why she looks so angry and she's going at someone with a hammer. So it's just a lot of speculation, a lot of theory, but I think it would be pretty awesome actually to bring him back and kind of bring things kind of full circle and bring these earlier characters back, because we have a lot of characters that we have not actually seen in the first half of this final season, Luciana being one of them, and she's supposedly still alive. We also have, I can't remember their names, the woman and her handicapped brother, and then the priest. We have not seen him for a while, and I know there's been a few others, but hopefully they close all those stories out, and as well close out stories that go way back to the beginning. So I hope it's true. I hope they bring him back and we kind of just get a full closing moment or full circle kind of situation where we see all these characters, just their story arcs are closed out properly. And maybe even we will see Madison and Alicia, if she is alive, down the road in other crossovers, because the way they closed out the first half of the season, we see that Morgan and Mo are heading back towards Alexandria, towards Virginia, because we got that closing bit where he's in that graveyard where Eastman was buried and all the other people that they had put down and everything. And this is where they actually laid Grace to rest. And we got that great scene right at the end where it was a huge callback to season 1 of Walking Dead, where Morgan puts that message over the radio that he's looking for Rick Grimes and he will leave the radio on every day after dawn after sending out this message. I hope that Morgan crosses over and maybe to the Rick and Michonne series and we get some sort of reunion, because we got kind of cheated as far as reunions are concerned within the regular Walking Dead, within the flagship show. And so there's a lot of reunion opportunities, I believe, within the spinoffs. I hope they take those opportunities and actually do them. It would make fans incredibly happy to get these reunions and to close out these stories and give it kind of a happy ending, because as far as happy endings, we didn't get that in the comic. So, spoilers if you don't want to know about the end of the comic. The end of the comic is told from Carl's point of view, and as we all know, Carl is dead within the TV show part of the universe, and then Rick gets murdered and he has to be put down, and just, it's all kind of a fucked up situation. So there was a lot of give and take within the comic and the story of the TV show. But getting back to the original topic, as far as Troy's concerned, if they bring him back, I think that would be the right move on their part. Plus, it would just be cool to see Daniel Sharman come back and close out that character instead of just kind of leaving it open as they tend to do. But let me know what you guys think. Leave comments down below. Leave likes if you enjoyed the video. And consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot more than you know. So, I will catch you in the next one, guys. See you later. Bye.